Welcome, everybody. Oh my goodness, it is good to be back. We got season 2. Topic of conversation. I'm not gonna lie. For a little while, I wasn't sure if we were gonna make it to season 2. I thought, maybe it just wasn't meant to be and things just weren't working out, but here we are. So welcome to Topic of Conversation, Season 2 reboot. Changing the format up just a little bit. Of course, this is still going to be a live podcast, which means that viewer interaction is 100% expected, very much appreciated. We do have a point system. You'll find that down below in the video about section. Shows how the points work. At the end of the day, those points are really just for fun. I get to name somebody a winner at the end of the day. We're changing the way that we accept topics a little bit different than it used to be. It used to be a winner situation. For the sake of having a real good conversation about more than just one thing, I've decided we're going to allow suggested topics, and then we'll go through them on a weekly basis and decide which ones we want to talk about. So, I, of course, am David Cobb, aka Milkman. You'll also find me on my live stream from time to time at twitch.tv/milkmangg, where I sometimes play games, but mostly I just do old guy stuff. So you'll find me there, sometimes messing with guns, sometimes doing stuff online, sometimes playing my guitar. But that is a from time to time thing, and this is a weekly thing. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate your presence. Yeah, wow. We've got a little bit of a lineup today as far as topics go. I didn't want to settle on just one thing. There's just so much going on right now between presidential debates and Hawk Tua and all of those fun things that are cropping up all over the internet these days. I figured we could just talk about the ones that we want to talk about and not talk about the ones that we don't want to talk about. We're going to go ahead and open up for audio only. If somebody wants to jump in and participate in the conversation from chat, that is totally welcome. So you have to put that request up. I actually just need to activate that real quick. Stream together. Yeah, so the way that'll work is there's going to be a request button that should pop up in chat or somewhere near chat, and if you want to say something, you're welcome to pop in. If you are a moderator in the Creators Lounge Discord, of course, you can just join me in the mod voice chat, then pop in. And if you want to be on camera, we can work that out too. That's fine. Yep. Here we are again. That music's soothing. Oh my. I might fall asleep. I'm not gonna allow you to use that because you're not doing me. You're just doing a guest. Here we go. Requests. How's everyone been? We are halfway through the year. I wasn't necessarily going to announce this, but I'm going to. Today is my last day in my 30s. So, for the last time, I can say that I am 39 years old. When I wake up tomorrow, I will be in my 40s. I will be 40. I want to say old. I'm already old, right? I'll admit the debate wasn't as exciting as I expected. I guess that depends on how you approach it. I laughed all the way through. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was like right off the bat. It was just like, and like, I don't know. We could definitely talk about that here in a little bit. Let's talk about it right now. What was your favorite part? And I actually, hold on, before we get into that, I have to lay out my disclaimers. Of course, this isn't a family-friendly stream, but it's not like a not suitable for work thing, so there may be swearing from time to time. I'm not going to control what people say on my my thing here when they pop on. That is, of course, unless it is, bullying or discriminating for any reason at all. We don't tolerate that. No, we want this to be a welcoming environment where anybody can come and say their piece, say what they want to say. So that said, yeah, just a disclaimer that the things that are said here on this podcast, they are not necessarily the opinions of myself. They're not necessarily the opinions of the Creators Lounge. They are the opinions of the people who say them. And maybe even sometimes they're not the opinions of those people either. We like to play devil's advocate from time to time. So, nothing wrong with that. And we make a lot of stories up. We sometimes say things that are just flat out untrue, but not for the sake of misleading, only for the sake of entertainment. So, performance issues. Oh man, I've never had performance issues. So I prefer Trump to win since we can't afford another 4 years of Biden, but to say something I liked is hard. It felt like elder abuse. He barely knew where he was. Yeah, well, by way of Biden's performance, I would say, he warmed up a little bit at the end, but mostly, yeah. And I think a lot of people feel that way as well. It seems that, Democrats are talking a lot about changing things up. When I say the Democrats, I'm not necessarily saying I know anything about the Democratic leadership or anything like that, but I know that at least some of the pundits, some of the talking heads and whatnot have been talking about it. So, as far as the format of this show goes, like I said, we want to have more than just a conversation around one topic. I think that was one of the things that kind of held back our season 1, was we tried to stick to one topic for like an hour and a half. And that was just, it was kind of tedious work. So what I want to start doing is, we're going to break it up kind of into some segments. Obviously, I'm here to do the introductions, any disclaimers that are necessary, any explanation of how it works, which of course is what we're doing now. And, depending on the conversation around that can go anywhere from, 15 to 20 minutes. I watched a YouTube video that laid out it's almost impossible to replace him. Yeah, I was reading an article about that as well. Yeah, it is what it is. We'll look into that a little bit more. Maybe not the YouTube thing, but that is actually an interesting concept. Because they talk about things like the 25th Amendment and whatnot. But I might talk about that a little bit later. I'll bring some sources up on my fun little screen right here. Hey, what do you think about that background, huh? I'm gonna do one thing real quick because I don't think I like having chat popping up like that. Boop. Yeah, it just looks a little cleaner. Yeah, it's not necessary for the video or anything like that anyhow. So, yeah, we'll bring that up. So yeah, first segment, we're gonna do essentially housekeeping stuff, just welcome everybody and whatever. After that, we're gonna go into just a section that I don't have a name for it, and maybe I should come up with a witty name and a fun transition where it's like, ooh, and does a fun transition. But it's essentially going to be trending web searches. So like I know what I'm interested in, I know what I've been searching for, but when you open up Google Chrome on your phone, maybe you have to have it set up this way, but it shows you the trending searches, right? So we'll go through a few of those. There are actually some pretty interesting ones on here today that we're going to talk about. I've got them queued up. Actually, we'll look at them in just a minute, but that is going to be essentially our first little section. And again, depending on the conversation around that, it's going to be 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so. And then our final segment, of course, is going to be topics from our viewers, things that you want to hear me talk about, and our co-hosts. We're going to bring co-hosts back. This solo thing, this is definitely not permanent. This is just for tonight. We're just warming back up, getting back into things. So I want to make sure we've got a nice solid format once we bring our co-hosts back on. In regard to co-hosts, haven't really come up with a way of picking a co-host, but if you're interested in co-hosting, you can send a request, and it's the same email for man, I feel like I'm talking real slow. I usually talk way too fast though, so that's fine. So if you want to request a topic, or if you want to request being a co-host on the show at some point, you can send a request to, and this actually brings me to another thing that I didn't mention at all, but I'm going to every single week, keep it in the forefront of your mind. You can send it to thecreatorsloungeonline@gmail.com. So you can send all requests that email address. That does go directly to me, and so I'll get to see what the heck is going on. Sounds pretty good, right? Speaking of the Creators Lounge, ladies and gentlemen, we are now officially affiliated with the Creators Lounge, and the Creators Lounge is officially sponsoring this program. So yay for that. If you don't know what the Creators Lounge is, you see their logo there. The logo signifies minds coming together and creating new colors and new things. The Creators Lounge, as of right now, is a little network that me and some other entrepreneurs are building to give creative people a place to go and to meet other creative people. It does sort of focus on digital creation and gaming, so live streamers, things like that. But of course, it's welcome. It's open to all entrepreneurs. It's really just specifically there to help people who want to build something of their own. And that could be a business, it could be a stream, it could be a product, anything at all. We are, of course, officially affiliated with David Cobb Consulting, LLC. That is my own business consultancy. So we do specialize in things like digital marketing, social media marketing, SEO, business growth, and startups, whatnot. So there I go with the nose thing again. It's always itching as soon as the camera goes on. Have I forgotten anything? I did have a full disclaimer before that was sort of based on the Offspring's disclaimer, which of course is actually pretty relevant. Welcome to disclaimer. This American Apple Pie institution known as parental discretion will cleanse any sense of innuendo or sarcasm from the podcast. I see what I did there, which might actually make you think and will also insult your intelligence at the same time. So, protect your family. This album, or podcast rather, contains explicit depictions of things which are real. These real things are commonly known as life. So, if it offends you, if it's, I can't remember the rest of it. So, if it sounds dangerous, do not try this at home or at all. And if it offends you, just don't listen to it. All right, so that's really the whole thing. If it offends you, just don't listen to it. Everyone's welcome here. We don't go out of our way to offend people, but sometimes we say things that that you find offensive. Sorry if you don't like it. You can approach me directly through the Creators Lounge Online at gmail.com to address any issues. Or you can pound sand. Because at the end of the day, this is my podcast. I know the Creators Lounge isn't going to fire me. Anyway, let's get to it, y'all. We're talking about the top trending searches on Google. Right now, I did skip a couple of them just because they look really boring. For example, the top search right now, and obviously it's the 1st of July. So the top search is Social Security, SSI payments in July. Yay! But the second one, now this one is interesting. I didn't have any time to really do any digging into it. I want you all to see, because the search is, hang on, I'm trying not to sneeze. The search is mysterious monolith, northern Colorado. So, of course, this is what the search yields. Let's find a better image of it. So it's this guy right here. Mysterious monolith reportedly pops up in Colorado dairy farm. So this is days after another monolith apparently was found near Las Vegas and was removed. That's like somebody just going and putting these things up. So what is it? Oh, let's find out. Does anybody know anything about this? Has anybody seen this or searched for it yourself? It's very interesting. Like, they're saying it's aliens. And aliens are coming up and building these things. I'm going to push play on that. Of course, there's going to be an ad. Oh, this movie looks good. I want to see this. Kevin Costner. Hatfields and McCoys. Let's pause the music real quick. And make this bigger. Monolith. If you really call it a monolith. You can tell there's been feet and stuff all around it, of course, because of the mud there. So yeah, somebody probably built it. It's a dairy farm. It might have been cows out there as well, but things get more like muddy when they're actually being like stepped on stuff. That was the whole thing. Yeah, that was it. Okay. I don't know. I think it's cool looking. I mean, look at this. Look at this thing. Like a big, let's see, how do they describe it? Strange object has created a buzz online, of course. Where else would it create a buzz? With people speculating that out of this world beings put it there, or even perhaps someone is trying to mess with their neighbor who has a proclivity for aliens and conspiracies. Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty legit. Maybe. Yeah, it's cool looking though. I mean, I'd leave it. You're like, oh, this looks cool to me. So I'm curious though, because they're talking about one in Las Vegas. And that they took it down. So I mean, if they took it down, they obviously have some way of knowing what it's made of and stuff like that. So see a lot of weird things when people go hiking. like not being prepared for the weather, not bring enough water. Check this out. All right, well, authorities said at the time that the mysterious object was installed in the ground. Here we go, and then it doesn't say how. Okay, you've got similar monoliths that were reported in Belgium, Romania, and Isle of Wight. But apparently it doesn't want to show it to us, so guess we'll just not worry about that then. So yeah, mysterious monolith in Colorado. What do y'all think? Aliens or obnoxious neighbors? I think it's a publicity stunt. Personally, I think somebody's, because look, somebody's putting these up, and it has something to do with some art thing that somebody's probably trying to do. And it's going to come out that, oh, this artist did it, and look at all the buzz that it created, all the hype, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of, apparently there's a lot of, I like this though. Look at that one. Mysterious monolith. It's a Tesla Cybertruck. That's pretty funny. It looks AI generated. I'm sure it is. All right, well, hey, that's number one. So obviously we didn't want to talk about social security checks because that's boring. The next one is the obituary for looks like a random person. Actually, who is this person? City of Pittsburgh announces the death of Gus Colaris. Do you know who that is? Yo, Adrian! What's going on, my guy? Also, somebody get me to stop saying my guy. Like, I don't know why it comes out of my mouth when I'm on live. I don't like hearing it. I don't like saying it. That's just gonna make me stop. All right. Adrian, you know anything about this this monolith? You're actually closer to that area than we are. You seen these things? These I don't know, these mirrors, I guess. They look like mirrors to me. They're calling them, oh, they're strange objects. Well, I mean, they're some type of reflective material. Looks like it's probably man-made. You can see where there's rivets and stuff. It's just a thing, my dude. It is. It's a thing. I guess the internet certainly seems to think it's a thing. And nobody knows who Gus Colaris is, so if we don't know who Gus Colaris is, then we don't need to spend any time reviewing his obituary. Texas A&M baseball coach early. Oh, okay, so whatever. New baseball coach for Texas A&M. Okay, so we're gonna go to number 2 that I picked. So I did skip some, like I said, monolith. Nope, mirrors in the middle of no place. Haven't seen that shit either. Right? Oh, there you go. Yet, just wait. You'll find one on your front door. One of these days, you're gonna walk out the door and just be like, "Whoa, what?" Yeah. All right, so the next one that I picked, this one's really special to me because I'm a fat guy. We already looked at that. It's this though. It's Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme's giving away advertisements. Free donuts. Iced coffee 2 days a week in July. All right. So how do you get the deal, guys? And hashtag not sponsored because it's Krispy Kreme. Yeah, so if you got a Krispy Kreme anywhere near you, this is how you're gonna do it. These are the top searches. So if you're just joining us right now, we're just going through the top searches on Google. The last one here is actually gonna lead us into some of the more interesting actual headlines that are going on around the world. But for now, we're talking about donuts. And also just keep in mind, if you do have something to say and you want to say it on the stream, you're welcome to hit that request button. It's over there somewhere, I think. Oh, it might be right there in the chat. Yeah, you can pop in and say hello. Yeah, that's something you can do. It's true. It's true. All right, where were we? Donuts. Yeah, free donuts. Okay, so what do we do? Krispy Kreme giving away free donuts on the 4th of July. Okay, why not? Because rather than making money on the 4th of July, you may as well give it away. The bakery chain is giving members of its Krispy Kreme Rewards loyalty program a free donut every Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Tuesday, July 2nd. That's my birthday. I can go get free donuts on my birthday, or a free donut. What? I like that. All right, first giveaway day. So you have to join their the rewards loyalty program. So, yay for that. Y'all get the notification says there's an ad break coming up in 2.5 minutes? I ask because I'm getting that, and I just want to. I think you're supposed to get it too, but I want to make sure I know when those ad breaks are coming in so that I can give my voice a break and get a drink of water. Get a drink of water right now anyway. Free donuts. So July 5th and every Friday in July. What? Hang on. That's a lot. It's a lot of days that you're going to get free donuts. Look. Choose a free donut from Krispy Kreme special holiday themed Star Spangled Sweetness Collection firework cookies and cream filled donut. Oh, that sounds super sweet. Cotton candy sparkler donut. No, thank you. Or Freedom Flag donuts. Freedom Flag donuts. I mean, I don't know what that means, but I'll be happy to check it out. I've got a Krispy Kreme just up the road. Yeah, mods definitely see that, and they might even have the ability to snooze it. I thought I made it so that viewers in chat can see when it's about to come up too, but that's all right. If not, who cares? It doesn't matter. We easy. Let's see. So the reward member can get a free iced coffee of any size. You must purchase something to get the freebies on Tuesday and Friday. Okay, so there is a purchase that has to be made. So it's not just like, hey, I'm here, give me free stuff. It's like, hey, buy stuff, and then we'll give you additional stuff for free. So how to get free Krispy Kreme donuts and iced coffee in July. You take part in blah, 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 blah. Come on. You must belong to the Change Reward program. Sign up by downloading Krispy Kreme app or creating an account on the company website. There you have it, guys. And do we have anything else we got to say about that? I don't think so. I mean, free donuts speaks for itself. At least I think so. All right, real quick before we get on to number 2, we do have an ad break incoming, so I don't want to overlap there. So bear with us, and we'll be right back after this message from our sponsor. I mean, I'm not getting an ad. OMG, you've had a 162-day streak. All right, well, I don't see an ad going, so I don't know. Wonder if not everybody gets it. Or maybe I don't see it because I'm me. Well, I dig this. All right, look. Let's go into our third and final top search of the day. So, oh, now it says there's an ad in progress. I'll wait it out then. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little ad break. I assume it actually went. I don't see it on my side, I guess. I just see a little thing that says there's an ad break in progress. So we're going to move right along. I hope that during that ad break, y'all had the opportunity to go and sign up for your free donuts and whatnot at Krispy Kreme. So this one's a little bit more serious. And I had no idea when I looked at it how serious it was. You know, I'm just going down the list. But it's the El Al is what the question is El Al, and we'll find out what El Al is. Looks like it's maybe an Israeli airline or something like that. Anyway, but El Al plane emergency landing in Turkey. So this airplane had to make an emergency landing in Turkey. Why is this so small? I want y'all to be able to see this, for crying out loud. There we go. But this is the very top story when I do that search at plane emergency. This is a New York Post article from a day ago. Turkey refuses to let Israeli flight evacuate and refuel after an emergency landing. Ooh, that's rough. It's more rough than my camera not deciding to go into focus. Come on, focus. Love me. It's not gonna love me. It's gonna make me restart it. It hates me. Now let's get into this though. You can see that just fine. I know I'm blurry and that's probably annoying, but probably not any more annoyed than I am. So move on. Hello. Oh. Oh yeah, I see. I'm just totally blanking myself out there. Autofocus is garbage on this thing. So yeah, so this airplane in Turkey looks like flying in from Israel. Sorry, I got that camera thing fixed. Okay, so Turkish officials Sunday, they allegedly refused to let an Israeli flight evacuate or refuel after it made an emergency landing. That's nuts. That's nuts. You have to make an emergency landing, and then the authorities are like, no. We're not going to let you go. We're not going to let you fuel. We're going to make you sit in the airplane. So it looks like it was flying from Poland. They had to make an emergency landing in Turkey after a passenger fell ill. Okay. Man, I mean, although flight crew initially received permission to deboard and refuel, Turkish officials then delayed the decision, claiming permits were required to fuel the plane. And that's according to Israeli broadcaster KAN. After waiting, the flight crew was informed that they would not be allowed to do either, forcing the plane to fly off to Greece's Rhodes airport to refuel, according to Israel's army radio. So Turkey, you know, obviously, okay, Turkey is not going to be a friend of Israel with what's going on in the Middle East. Since at least October, probably before that. You know, Turkey is an Islamic country. So there's obviously, you know, tension there between them and Israel. But how petty? Like, in my opinion, that's pretty petty. We don't like you and your religion. You know, and all the blaming that's going on about what was happening right now in Gaza and whatnot. So instead of letting you refuel, we're going to essentially say you either have to just sit, like, what are you going to do? You're just going to sit on the tarmac? I mean, what are you going to do with them? Eventually they need to either leave or something, right? Am I right? Am I not looking at this the right way? But I guess it's lucky they were able to get to Greece. But how absurd. You have what you can get there. You're gonna get paid for it, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the principle of the matter when it comes to Turkey. I don't know. Let's see. All direct flights between Turkey and Israel have been canceled. Since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, after the October 7th terrorist attacks. Sure. Turkey's remained one of Israel's biggest critics over the war, obviously, with its government announcing in May that all exports and imports from Israel would be halted after the Israel Defense Forces advancement into Rafah. That's a pretty heavy topic for our first episode of the season. I don't know if we want to go too much more into all of that. What do y'all think? How do y'all feel about that? You can tell me in chat, or come and tell me what you think on the show. Look at that cute video there with the little bunny and the deer. Isn't that just adorable? That's something, isn't it? All right. Well, listen, we don't need to continue into all of the nuances of the Israel and Gaza situation. Maybe we will sometime. Again, if you have a topic that you'd like to discuss and you think that it's something that we can do on our little live podcast here, you can go ahead and send that to the Creators Lounge Online at gmail.com. And it'll be reviewed, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, you too will be a part of the conversation. That said, there are a couple of topics that I know are going on that I've just seen, and maybe I'll throw a few out. But let's start with this one, since it was brought up earlier, and without being partisan. Hawaiian Cobra brought up the idea of the Democrats. So I'm trying to write. I can't think and talk at the same time. About the Democrats potentially replacing Joe Biden as the presidential nominee for the election this year. And I too saw some information on that. So let's see what Google has to say. Huh? Let's just say, can the Democrats replace Joe Biden? Because I know that ultimately the answer is yes. It's just that it's not that easy. And I have seen, a few articles talking about it, and at the end of the day, for me personally, I mean, look, I wasn't going to vote for the guy anyway, and especially after the performance on Thursday, it really is hard to see anybody not seeing him as exactly what the doctor, what was his name, suggested. He was a well-meaning old man with a poor memory, right? So let's see, all the responses here are not can they, but who would they replace him with. It's always fun to see opinions from people across the pond. I always am curious to see how Europeans see our politics, because from where I'm sitting, it's a friggin' mess. But they're all the way on the other side of the ocean there, and maybe they see it differently. Maybe they're like, what, that makes sense. That's on par for America. So let's see. BBC calls it a feeble debate performance. Yeah, no surprise. Sent shockwaves across the Democratic Party, which is nutso to me, because everybody knows that he's been this way. He's been feeble for a long time. We've been saying it. And he's only really performed well in situations where he's in a completely controlled environment. The State of the Union comes to mind. And I think maybe the shockwave is less than anyone's surprised. They're just surprised that it came out on this stage. Because you would have thought that they had it locked down with all the rules that they insisted on. Gotta get ready to have me on the phone. Cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. But they're shocked that in such a important discourse he would appear this way. So let's see what BBC thinks as far as who could replace him. So the move, though unlikely, would create a logistical nightmare, of course. And it could set up an ugly inter-party fight among Democrats just months before voters cast their ballots. I think either way, you're kind of in that situation. But with Democrats expressing panic and confusion over the future of Mr. Biden's candidacy, it has led to discussion about whether the president, at 81 years old, is the right candidate to face former President Donald Trump in November. If you ask me, I think that the Democrats should have picked RFK right off the bat. But they won't touch him. He's toxic, obviously. There was a reason the CIA had JFK assassinated. I said that thing because everyone knows it's true. So what do we think? They say Big Yellow Bus Harris because she loves big yellow buses, right? Big school buses. She's a big fan. So I've heard over and over again. I think she's incompetent. Yeah, you know what? I don't know that she's incompetent. I think she's in a position where they're allowing her to look like a total dum-dum. Maybe to try to make Biden look less like a dum-dum. She also loves Venn diagrams. Yes, she does. Circles that overlap one another. Yeah. Venn, it's V-E-N. It might be V-E-N-N. I don't know. She loves those things. There's no ill will on our current president, but I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up one day soon and he passed peacefully in his sleep. Sure. At 81 years old, that wouldn't be surprising. He's obviously suffering from the later stages of dementia. No, you're right. I agree. It wouldn't be surprising at all. And at that point, look, that would be easier for the Democrats because he'd be gone. Kamala would serve for the rest of his term. And then they could put up whoever they want as president, as the candidate for president, right? So, as vice president, she has become the face of the administration's campaign to protect reproductive rights after the Supreme Court's overturned Roe v. Wade. I just want to make sure we're clear on this. Protecting reproductive rights. Nobody is trying to take away reproductive rights, okay? Abortion is not a reproductive right. It is the taking of a life. Doesn't matter how you look at it. And if you try to spin it any other way, honestly, you're lying to yourself. And I don't condone baby killing. So I won't apologize for that. Let's see. Harris has proved to be a loyal ally to the president. I should hope so. She's his vice president. Although, so first of all, I hate the two-party system. As it is, I think it's a blight on the United States government. I think that it takes away our ability to really pick the best candidate overall. You have to give birth to reproduce, so abortion isn't a reproductive right. And I'm sorry, what do you mean reproductive right? What right to reproduction do you have? That's not just a right that you have. What a stupid way to put it. But I was just going to say, I would like to see a system where our president and our vice president have differing opinions, but can work together to make the country better for those opinions. The problem is not, of course, that the people are of differing parties. It's that they can't manage to get along one way or another. And that's the biggest problem in the United States, is we have just a huge separation between the two parties. And if you had a larger pool, you didn't just have, left or right, Republican or Democrat, you'd have a situation where there are a lot more options, and it would more accurately represent the people of the United States. That's how I see it. But alas, we are not so lucky to have that. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, wasn't she the autocrat of the 2021 mask mandates and stuff? Like, wasn't she like the one that was like telling people they have to wear them like inside of their homes and stuff? Let's see. She led a campaign that left Michigan Democrats in control of the state's legislature and the governor's mansion. Well, that's state stuff. There's no way she could win in a general election. Not a chance. Especially, and same with Newsom here. The thing is, they kind of look good on paper, and they look fine to the people who voted for them in their own states. But how does that translate to the other 49 states? Everybody sees what's happening in California. Everybody sees what happened in Michigan. And regardless of how the media has spun it, it happened, and we have free access to it. Thank goodness for Elon Musk and X.com. Pete Buttigieg, I can't even pronounce that guy's name. Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg. I'm not gonna do that. That might offend somebody. Well, yeah, I mean, look, he ran against Biden in 2020. I don't think he would fare well. I don't think he would really have a chance. The really sad part right now for Democrats is I don't think any Democrat really has a chance, and it's really a large part because of everything that's coming out about how things were handled for COVID, how things have been handled with Biden. People are waking up. They're seeing that they've been lied to, or at least it appears that way to me. And I hope it's true. And I'm not saying that there might not be someone better than Trump out there, but between the two, I think Republicans have a significantly better platform. And I think with Trump going in as sort of a disruptor of business as usual, he's also going to help keep the Republicans honest, which is a problem, which is really hard to do sometimes. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. I don't really know anything about this guy. I've heard good things about the state of Pennsylvania. There's a lot of anti-Jew hate going on. So with a name like Shapiro, I'm not so sure he would really fare well, just by optics alone. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. I don't know who that is. Any other possible candidates? Yeah, it's Zombie JFK. Yeah, I mean, on the Democrat ticket, obviously. So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that the Democrats should replace Biden? Do you think that they could replace Biden? NBC specifically says that they're already talking about it. And one of the sources that I was watching actually on the night of the debate was saying that they have an insider in the White House who let them know that there was active conversation right there at the White House, in front of the Oval Office. So anyway, I think that's enough. I think that's enough politics for the time being. I don't know. I think ultimately they could replace him. I think, like you said, Cobra, in all odds. The man's 81 years old. He's clearly suffering from dementia. Who knows how much longer he's even going to be around. So that is my hot take on that. So let's see. So I had a little list going of some of the not big stuff going on in the news. Some of it's pop culture kind of stuff. Actually, I want to save one in particular for when I've got a co-host. We can have some conversation about this. But it's the Hawk Tuah girl. Hawk Tuah. Like, when I first saw that, I was like, what? Why? What is this? And then it blew up, and the entire internet was on fire with it. So, yeah, I mean, that happened. We did talk about the presidential debate a little bit, so we'll go ahead and cross that off of there. Well, we went through our top 3 searches, which is fine. So I don't know enough about Dr. Disrespect and that whole situation to really get into a deep conversation about it. The only thing that I would say, from what I do know, is there are always 2 sides to every story. And as humans, we like to get involved in other people's drama, but we also have to remember that if we were on the other side, and we had all of the information, it would be a lot easier for us to make decisions based on the information. And my whole take on it is simply, I don't know the person or the people involved. I know that, media and other outlets often intentionally drag people through the mud, especially, people who are big and are often seen as, so, I don't think he's conservative. I'm not sure, but I you see that people like him who kind of garner a following that is, I hate to say that it's a counterculture thing, but I mean, being manly and all of that is not the norm anymore. It's not what society has kind of been trained to instill in people. Quite the opposite, in fact. So when there are people who maybe kind of come out as seeming that way, they do tend to get attacked. All of that said, of course, I do not in any way, shape, or form condone any kind of pedophilia, obviously, or carrying on in inappropriate conversations or otherwise with minor individuals. And that, to me, is where it becomes more of a gray area, is where does it go from being innocent conversation to, predatory activity. And again, not knowing all of the details, you can't know. And unfortunately, we live in a society now where everyone wants to pass judgment. Everybody wants to be, judge, juror, and executioner. And unfortunately, that has a huge toll on people who often are falsely accused of things, or the story wasn't exactly what we were made to believe it was. So anyway, So yeah, I'm not gonna go into any of the details on that because I just don't know them, and I know a lot of people are spewing a lot of hate about it, jumping to conclusions and assumptions, and I don't want to do that. So that's it. Is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna leave that at about an hour long conversation this week. Sure, we'll we'll feel it out as far as length goes. Like I said, we're changing up the format a little bit, so want to be able to have conversations about multiple things. But the primary purpose of the topic of conversation is to get the viewers involved, so that the conversation isn't just what you're seeing here on the screen, but it's what y'all are talking about in the chat. You know, I want to see y'all talking to each other, talking to me and the co-hosts. And I want y'all to fill my inbox with suggestions. I want to know what you want to talk about. And again, you can also request time on air with me if you want to be a co-host. Go ahead and send those requests and all other requests over to the Creators Lounge online at gmail.com. The Creators Lounge is a place for creators and entrepreneurs and anybody who wants to network with people who are trying to build something for themselves or for the world. But they are the start of something big. And I can see how big it can get, but I need your help to get there. So that's about it for today, everybody. Thank you for those of you who participated, and that's it. I don't have anything else. I got nothing else to say. We're gonna keep it right there. Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you next week. Oh, the podcast is gonna be reposted on YouTube, so you can find it on YouTube. Topic of Conversation. It's easy to find. You can also look up Topic of Conversation podcast on Spotify. We'll be on Spotify there as well, and that'll go live on those platforms on the morning that we record the next one. So it'll be next Monday morning. You'll be able to access the recording of that, and that's it. That's all I got. Thanks. Ta-ta.